popular social media post claims that former finance minister and Congress member of parliament P. Chidambaram claimed a monthly rent allowance of 20 lakh rupees from the government for 10 years despite staying in a house owned by his wife. For context, MPs are entitled to rent-free residential accommodation in the form of bungalows, flats or hostels in Delhi. However, if an MP decides to reside in a private house, they should bear the rental expenses themselves and the central government does not pay them. According to the Rajya Sabha website, P. Chidambaram, who is a member of the upper house, resides in an accommodation allotted by the government in Delhi. This means that the central government is not bearing any expenses for his private residence. This is also evident from the information available on the Rajya Sabha website related to expenditure incurred on the salary and allowances of members every month. Apart from constituency allowance and office expense allowance, which every member is entitled to, there is no mention of any other allowance that Chidambaram is receiving from the government as claimed in the post. Further, the post claims that most of the secretariats of various ministries are working in rented accommodation owned by the Congress and communist leaders at high rental values. However, there is no official information or news report confirming this. Also, the Minister of State for Housing and Urban Affairs Kaushal Kishore informed the Lok Sabha that there is no centrally maintained data on the amount spent by various government establishments for renting office space in Delhi. According to these news articles, the central government has defended the controversial Central Vista project in the Supreme Court by asserting that the project would save the government 1,000 crore rupees in annual rental expenditure on secretariats. The post also claims that the Supreme Court has dismissed an appeal to stop the Central Vista project and imposed a fine of 1 lakh rupees. However, it is not the Supreme Court but the Delhi High Court that has imposed this fine while disposing of a petition related to the Central Vista project. In May 2021, when COVID-19 restrictions were being implemented in Delhi, a PIL was filed in the Delhi High Court requesting that work on the Central Vista project be paused on the grounds that it is not an essential activity and going forward with construction work would put the lives of workers at risk. However, after hearing both sides, the court refused to stay the construction work. Further, the court dismissed the petition, imposing a fine of 1 lakh rupees, stating that the petition is a motivated petition and not a genuine public interest litigation. The petitioners later approached the Supreme Court, which also dismissed the matter and refused to interfere with the judgment of the Delhi High Court. So, finally, as former Union Minister P. Chidambaram did not claim a rental allowance for staying in a private residence owned by his wife, this post is fake.
When you come across a piece of news that seems too ridiculous to be true, don't leave things to doubt. Run searches on Google and Yandex and weigh out the true and false of the situation for yourself by looking at the facts. But first of all, before you hit that forward button, pause.